We can do all that. All right, here goes. Tape is rolling. Looks like everything's queued right. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to There Will Be Dungeons with Scott, Kyle, Kristen, Bo, and John. I did it out of order, so it threw me off. Almost put a name in there that didn't exist. Bill, Paul, and Sherry. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We're thrilled to be here, continuing on our adventures. Before we get too far, I'd like to do an email, and Bo will then read some erotica. So hold on to your butts. Not really. It's something else, but we'll get to that in a second. We got an email from Jeremy, or Jay Dizzle. He says, it was actually a comment on our blog a couple of days ago on a recent episode. He says, is it just me, or does Varel use the shittiest weapons ever? A torch, for F's sake. Grab a damn battle axe and wreck some shop, lizard brain. Absolutely love the show. Keep up the amazing work. Now, been a couple of these lately about Varel's excellent use of his mouth and his teeth in battle. So I'm wondering, Kyle, if you have any comments at all about why it is you rely so much on your natural weapon and not some sort of big axe or something to that effect.
Flesh is stronger than steel. You gotta carry your weapons everywhere. It's not effective.
Okay.
Varel wouldn't do such a thing.
All right. It's all in character is the point. And that's what we try to do here, is to stay as close to what our characters would do as possible. If you'd like to send in your own emails, you can. Just go to the website, There Will Be Dungeons, and submit them there. Or leave a comment on the blog, and we might just read it here. Before we let Kristen sum things up from last week, Bo has some corrections.
Yeah, so we had a 3-hour combat encounter last week, and wouldn't you know it, as hour 3 waned on, there were some errors. And many of you out there wanted to point them out, and I'm always grateful for it. So please feel free to do so. In particular, thank you to Brooke, who wrote an email compiling every error and did my job for me, basically. So we should go over some of them because they're pertinent to our play. The enlarged spell last week, you enlarged Varel for 10 rounds. He was keeping track. Of note that I didn't realize, that's a concentration spell, which means I don't think you took damage, but whenever you take damage, you do have to roll a save or you break concentration and he loses his size or whatever effect. Where it came up as a problem is that you can only have one concentration spell active at a time. So when you shrunk the Beholder, Varel's magic effect should have ended immediately.
Oh,
and we didn't do that.
Okay.
So that's the rule on that. And that's fine. We'll just, say you were magically inspired and it's all good. That's what happened. But for the future reference, we need to keep that in mind. Temporary hit points. A lot of people messaged John about this one. You can't stack your temporary hit points. Once John gives you 5 bonus hit points, and then an hour later casts it again and you still have your temporary hit points, you choose to keep your current temp hit points or take the new ones. And I think that applies to all sources of temporary hit point gain. So they don't stack. So if you have 2 features that give you temporary hit points, once the second one procs after having accepted the first instance, you choose between which ones to keep.
Right.
So they don't stack up to some crazy high amount. All right. Next one, sleep. This is where players be sure to be as familiar as you can to make my life easier with your character sheets. Last week, Nash put Stanley to sleep. And apparently elves have a fey, what is it called? A fey fortitude or something like that, meaning they can't be put to sleep through magic. It was impossible.
Gotcha.
Which means Hope should have fell asleep last week, because I was reading the sleep spell, and the way it's worded is that something that's resistant to sleep wouldn't consume up to the hit points cast. So we missed that nuance, and but I like to think that this deepens the animosity between the two characters. So he's also half human, so we can explain it a little bit like his human side got the better of him in that instance.
Sure.
It'd have been a long fight.
Yeah, if you have, I know some of you, for example, I think because of your draconic ancestry, Scott, you have resistance to fire. So if you take fire damage, I need you to remember that you have to cut it in half, because I probably won't think of it, and you'll end up taking the full brunt of it. The last one had to do with charm. Varel was charmed by the Beholder last week. Now, charm status reads that they can't attack or target the charmer with harmful abilities or magical effects, and that the charmer has advantage on ability checks interacting with the creature it's charmed. That's all it says, and I took it a little too far in assuming Vorel would have to fight to protect the beholder. Now, the beholder could have said something to Vorel and made a persuasion roll and then influenced him, making him do that, but I skipped that step. Charm doesn't mean mind control or immediate. I just stepped in and sort of assumed that. So for the future, with respect to charm, that's something I need to keep in mind. And that's it.
All right. There
Thank
you go.
all for writing that in.
Those are our, what'd you call them? Errata?
Errata.
Errata, not erotica. Errata.
You
It
can
sounds like
send us that too, though.
I mean, being rules lawyers,
Next week.
rules lawyers do find this stuff erotic, I'm sure.
Oh, I
They're like,
know they do.
oh, yes, mistakes. Oh, reason to peruse the rules.
Guaranteed they do. Well, that's fantastic. Let's now hand the mic over to Kristen, aka Hope, which she will now spend some time telling us where we were and where we are.
Last week on There Will Be Dungeons blasted by a beholder, the scene was set. Tylander tirelessly chanting blurbs in a bubble, Quizquaz questioning the quartet's technique, the heroes hoping to hold up a harrowing humdinger. Hope moved first, leaping easily across a tainted trap. Vorel followed, tail touching, releasing rocks that hindered the hallway. Stanley and Nash managed to run in without suffering too many misbegotten maladies. The fight was on. A dastardly dome stood in the way of taunting Tylander. In the end, it was Vorel that fought his way into the false facade, but too late! Up from the gravelly ground grew sinewy stalks, an eyeball on each. Suddenly, our worryless warriors felt watched. As the large lizardman dealt with the spurious spellcaster, the rest did their best to pummel the pernicious peepers. But as one met death, more replaced them. It was then that the ground gave way, revealing the body of a behemoth beholder. Quicker than before, the bullets flew, the swords stabbed, and the magic mangled. Daring death a dozen times, the team tanked through, though Tylander did not. Dreading the dawn of defeat, the bothersome beholder turned his charm to Vorel, succumbing the scaled serpent with a sensuous song. Finally dealing a deadly ding to the abhorrent aberration, Stanley was rushed by a raging reptile. Nash, anxiously aiming his attack, accidentally aided in putting the half-elf to sleep. But all was not lost, as Hope was there to maim the massive lizardman, bringing him to birth at her feet before bidding him a non-fatal farewell. Triumphant, the cognizant trio stood, only to watch in horror as Quizquaz revealed the beholder was not the actual Kotobel Praith. Now, join our heroes as they stare up into a growing gash opened by a grumpy goat man.
Oh man, this is well done. Good lord. Yeah, you should just keep doing these. We're not good at this. This would be
I'm gonna start a rap group called Pernicious Peepers.
Pernicious
yeah,
Peepers.
Peepers was pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
Like a gang.
Peepers.
Yeah.
So
Like
it's got
we're gonna go up
special-
against the Peaky Blinders with the Pernicious Peepers.
Pernicious Peepers. That's the kind of fight you don't want to see. Very nice. Well done. Well, Bo, take it away.
Well,
what are we doing?
All right. When we last left off, though, you were in this room where you were fighting Tylander with the stage in the middle. And Tylander had died. The beholder had flown out and created a hole. And then John had finished the killing blow with his sword went in. The sword didn't come out, by the way. Just so you have an update on the status there. It didn't fly through it. You'll have to collect it. But during this interim where everyone was, after killing the beholder and then fighting Vorel into submission, Quizquaz had crossed the room, reached into the beholder, and pulled out this glowing black gem. And then the gem it floated up into his hand and had burst. And then it created this high tension of energy. As the room the rocks began to turn into smoke. And a column of smoke that swirled surrounded you. And you're now in this room with no exit. The floor's still rocky, and the smoke rose up, and as if you were in the center of a tornado, a smoke tornado. This giant column reaching up into infinity. And as that happened, a tear in the fabric of reality opens up, and you see large fingers, and you see this large head in the shape of a goat, and it's opening up before you, and Quizquaz is staring on excitedly. He's got his fingers up near his mouth, and he's like, as it opens up, this giant face opens up and says, "Who summons Ketobel Praith?" And as if it's a rhetorical question, because you can barely hear anything with the loud crackling, it opens up, and then as the fingers come out, as if dipping into water, they like shrink in size in this weird way. And you eventually see the form begin to push its way out of this large tear in the fabric of reality. It steps out one hoof at a time. As if splashing into water, it shrinks into size. So inside the portal, you see this gigantic beast of anger, and as it steps out, you see that its frame is somewhat on the size of Varel, about 7 feet, and it steps out 1 foot and another foot, and you see hoof, but this thing is clad in robes. This humanoid shape is clad in robes, and as it steps out, you notice his color is similar to Quizquaz in that he's doused in black. Everything about him is a shade of black, and he steps out and marks his surroundings. And Quizquaz looks and says, "Welcome back, Ketobel Praith. Welcome." Ketobel Praith, he looks around the room and then looks at you, and then he says to Quizquaz, "Who are these?" Quizquaz says, "There's some uninvited guests who arrived, but they helped open the door to free you."
Sorry, I choked.
No, it's okay. The column rises up. The smokes, and he stares at you for a long second. Now, Varel is unconscious on the ground at this point, so it's only the three of you here that are awake at the moment.
Okay.
He looks upon you, he says, "Mortals, you have my thanks for your role in freeing me." There's an awkward silence as he stares at you.
Is it Stanley who's asleep?
No.
Who's asleep?
It's Varel.
Varel's knocked
asleep.
out.
Okay.
He turns to after the moment, you guys are sort of staring in silence, not saying anything. He looks over to Quizquaz and says, "Much time has elapsed. We must return. Mortals, by way of thanks, I would invite you to rest and feed in our kingdom. Do you accept?"
Where's your kingdom?
"Our kingdom is in the Weir. It's a place few mortals have dared tread."
And I take it the doorway is this portal you've made.
"We will change its destination. I was not trapped in there." And then he actually, raises up an arm and he closes out the portal and then raises up his arms again. And a door sort of slides from the ground. This door is gate-shaped. This gate-shaped loop that has nothing in it, but as it rises and locks into place, almost as if it becomes filled with water from the sides, like a sprinkler. It fills it with water, and then it shimmers and bounces, and you see outer space in the doorway, and a bridge leading from the bottom out into nothingness.
I turn to Stanley and go, "Wait for it. I don't trust this guy."
Well, that doesn't surprise me at all, Nash, but we are fast out of options, I would say. Ketobel Praith, my name is Stanley Billings, and we would be gracious to accept such an offer. Now, we do have some matters we should probably see to before leaving this area. We came here for a few purposes, which have not yet been completely resolved, not to mention our companion here, who's a little worse for wear.
Yeah, Cthulhu Prince looks down at the companion, and looks to you, and says, "That's easily solved." And he sort of does this wax-on thing, and Varel's body begins to float. And he sort of looks like he has Varel's weight as if he's carrying him in his hand. He's like, "We can bring your friend with us. As for the matters that require resolution, perhaps once you've repasted and slept, we can discuss ways in which I might be able to assist you."
No offense. How do we know we can trust any of this? We've been fighting Jimmy over here on and off for I don't know how long. He just sat back in a fight we just had and laughed the entire time. So he wasn't even helping us. What are you doing? Why are we supposed to go with you? To what end is this? Where are we going? Whose side are you on?
I'm on no side. I'm the soul broker. But I'm here because you helped to free me. Tylander was just a pawn, and Quizquaz is simply one of my servants. They are acting on my accord and my direction. However, I make no such claim about you. You're simply good folk who've helped a deity overcome a difficult problem. And for that, you have the gratitude of a being of immense power.
I'm gonna lean over to Nash and just whisper, "Look, I know you don't trust this guy. I don't either. But if you might remember, we are hundreds, maybe thousands of feet under the earth with no way out. I think we need any allies we might get, and this isn't a fight we're going to win."
I don't disagree, Stanley, but we need to be careful. We may be trading what we think is the saving of our lives for the ending of our lives, and we just don't know it yet. We just have to be careful. We'll go through. And
what a strange collection I have before me. And he motions with his hand like this, and Varel sort of floats towards him, and then so Varel is like floating on the ground with his arms laid out and his head rolled back, and he floats out towards him, and Cthulhu Praise takes his hand and a white light shines from it, and he gently gives this pet over the snout and head of Varel. And Varel, you begin to wake up, but you feel calm and soothing. You feel very good. Your hit point total is replenished. You're refreshed as if from a long rest, and you are no longer charmed. The last thing you remember was trying to kill Hope and Stanley. I don't know if you feel remorse or not. That's up to you and your culture and what that all means. Might just be whatever for you, but you remember what happened leading up to the point you were down. He says, "What?" And Cthulhu Praise, as you wake and sort of trying to take this in, he says, "What an interesting collection I have before me. We have this great child of dragons, and I see here we have," and he looks to you, Hope, "we have the spawn of incest." And then he looks to you, Stanley, and he says, "And we have an abomination of human creation."
He's nice.
And he looks to you, Nash, and he says, "And we have you."
What the hell does that mean?
Do you know what that means?
No. I don't get it. He's an abomination. She's the subject of incest. I'm just who I am. I don't get it. Why am I not the the sticky scab of unearthly sights, or why am I not the disgusting slab of used to be human, now mostly bones and scars? Like, why am I just me?
You're a creature of beauty. Do you not know this? Do you know what you are?
Did you meet a little old lady in a hut?
This look up, this eyebrow raises, and he has these like goat horns, right? But he's got a bald head, and it's all black, and his eyes are like this. He doesn't have eyebrows, but you see one of the muscles, as if he would have spocked. He's eyebrow raised, and he says, "You don't know what you are, do you?
Why don't you
Answers
tell me?
you seek. I am grateful for what you've done here today. Without your intercession, things might not have come to pass so quickly. I am, however, the sole broker of the Weir, and I'd be very happy to give you the information you seek. But information comes at a price. Now, I'll gladly, as thanks, provide you with some shelter, food, and then send you on your way. Very few have come into contact with my kind and lived to tell the tale. And as I understand it, this may be your second time. But if it's information you seek, then an accord we must make."
I look at Stanley and go, I don't know what he's talking about. I have
Can't
no
help
idea.
you there, buddy. He's talking about what you are.
Maybe it has to do with the dragon.
Yeah, this might have answers to why you suddenly burst into flames and why you're looking a little more gnarly than before.
I think about this and I turn to this demon and I say, I stand up straight and I say, I'm Nash Maggard of the Solar Mines. And I do have some
Pleasure to
questions.
meet you.
Oh, is it? Is it now? Because it may not be, the further we get with this conversation, it may not be so pleasant.
He's not phased by unless you're actually making an intimidation roll.
No,
He doesn't.
just being a
It's like your threat just doesn't
just being
through.
just
yours.
being a Nash is just being a dick. All right, I'm gonna say, do you know? I'll just get right to the point. Do you know why I burst into flame and lose myself in horrible visions and nearly kill my friends here each time it happens without my control?
I don't know the precise answers, but I know the answers lie within you. That you have them right inside, and he points to his chest here. They're all there.
Okay, this irritates Nash, and Nash turns to his friends and says,
I
he's
will show
nothing
them to
more
you.
than a common gypsy. Anybody could tell me that it resides in me. This is no help, and I kind of stomp to the left.
I will help you unlock them, Nash. Quizquaz, he turns to. Please fly ahead and see to arrangements for our guests. I find mortals are much more amenable to discourse once their mortal needs have been met. Be sure to collect the chef and have courtesans ready. We'll be there shortly. With Quizquaz goes, "Yes, master, right away, my lord." And his wings, and he flies through the portal, and you see him as if splashing through water. He flies in, and he's flying in the outer space down the bridge towards some sort of like light at the end of the bridge as he takes off. It says, Cthulhu Praith says, "Come, I've spent too long here. Let us return to the Weir, and I will show you."
Sorry, I don't know
Thank
what
you. Thank you, Demon Sucker 22 for the subscription. Brofist.
I'll go turn all that off. I didn't.
Immersion ruined. All right.
But Kotobo Praith, what is this immersion you're speaking of? And who's Demon Fist? 666.
We have this thing here, and we are called Twitch, and it's where demons watch better demons do things on the internet. It's very strange.
Whisper in my ear.
Kotobo Praith turns around and begins to walk through the portal. He says, "Come, humans. Make your decision now, or stay in this pit and rot."
I'll follow.
He walks through the portal.
Have I been put down?
Yeah, you were on your
Okay.
feet. You've been just getting oriented. Everything happening around you is very strange. Hope has walked through a portal following this all black robes, goat-headed black humanoid about your size.
I'm
Through
gonna
the door.
follow as well, but I'm gonna call to my sword as I go.
Okay. Was that like a little whistle?
Yeah.
All right, and you see the sword fly out of the corpse of the beholder from behind and land into your holster. And you make your way through the door. Nash and Varel, your companions, and the man goat calling himself Kotobo Praith have walked through a portal.
All right.
And you can see that the entranceway begins receding.
Varel, we gotta go.
I have many questions, but now is not the time.
I agree. Get in there. You're too big to. This thing could cut a piece of you off. Get in there before it shrinks.
All right, so you guys rush in and chase after the other two, and you hear a and then behind you, like there's this gurgling. I didn't do that loud enough for the audio listeners. It's just like it winks out of existence behind you. You find yourselves on this long bridge. It's made completely of black cobblestone, and the railings are black. All around you is outer space, stars as far as the eye can see. Some like more stars than you'd ever see in the night sky in the desert, filled with stars. When you look back at the gate and look out at the bridge appears to extend into nothingness. You can't see where it leads. It's an endless bridge. As you turn around, and now that you're in there, the direction it was facing, the bridge appears to connect to this city. This collection of jagged, crooked, black structures that you can't make out, with green lights shining in various places, like windows where you might expect lights from a settlement. But you've never seen a city like this. It's very far in the distance. It looks like about a mile. You'd probably be walking about 20 minutes to get there. And this bridge, unsupported by anything that you can see, extends over there. In addition, you can see other bridges, maybe about 2 or 3 within vision, connecting to this floating city. And then it hits you. As you look around in this magical place, you realize you haven't been breathing. And in fact, there's no air in there. But it's not killing you. But there's no need to breathe here. The other thing is that you're this rush of water. You hear this, and this kind of melted in between, and you go to look. Curiosity compels you to look over the side, and you see underneath the city is a giant black whirlpool. And like where the city would be is where it seems to dip into a hole, but there's this giant whirlpool swimming around, and you swear you think. I'm not sure if you see fish or not, but upon closer inspection, you see people being swimming and being thrown about in this water as if perpetually drowning, and you see things that look like halflings and things that look like humans and lizards and animals. You see a cow in there. you see all manner of shapes and beasts swimming. They appear to be struggling. They're all black. Everything in this realm is black. Somehow it's illuminated so you can make out outlines and see shapes, but nothing is apart from you, and the objects you have are all colored a shade of black. And the green of the lights are the only non-black thing, and the stars in the sky. Finally, way up above, right in the center above you, is this whirlwind of yellow energy, but it's very faint, but you sort of see this little, similar to the whirlpool underneath, you see this whirling light up top. Catobal Praith waits patiently as you sort of gawk around and take in the spectacle that is this place. He says, whenever you're ready, we should leave. I have much to do.
What is this city? In the distance.
This is the Weir. This is a realm underneath all other realms.
Who lives in this city?
The Enlightened do.
Are you one of them?
I am. Many millennia ago, in the way you perceive time, the smartest of my kind found a way to enter the blackest pits in the cosmos. We dared to go where no one dared go. And we found this place. And it gave us immense power. We called it our home. Now come. And he begins walking down the bridge.
I'll keep walking.
Follow.
Keep following.
I'll follow.
Mm-hmm. As you walk and proceed in silence, you hear, and you hear those flapping of wings, boom, 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 as this giant lion-looking creature flies up above you and stares at you and flies, and you can feel the wind. And he looks at you, and then he looks to Catobal Praith, and you just hear a as he flies off. Catobal Praith looks to you and says, you would do well to follow instructions here. There are many who would seek to sip from your soul. And I cannot promise your safety if you do not do as bidden. He continues walking.
What if one of us fell down there? Into the sea of people and creatures and animals?
What you see down there is what we call the piss.
Ugh.
This is where tormented and forlorn souls are conscripted to suffer for an eternity.
Would
Their
we...
souls are not... They serve to fuel the needs of our city, but they are of a low quality and are consigned to the piss.
Would we suffer like them if we fell in?
If you fell into there, you would be there for eternity.
I turn around, guys, we should absolutely not fall in there.
Yes, do not jump over the sides unless you seek eternal damnation.
Well, don't worry, Nash. That wasn't really something I was considering.
I'm saying be careful. There's no rails. There's no safety regulations in this place, whatever this is. Just be careful. It's a big tail. Don't hit people with the tail, Varel. That's eternal damnation down there.
Noted.
How did these souls wind up there? Are they just people who were bad little boys and girls and they wound up there, or do you collect them?
They come here for various reasons. Mainly because they've made some sort of pact. And when it came time to pay up, they refused to pay up. And they died in anguish and torment. Which unfortunately is not good for a soul. The best souls are given willingly. And you can do much with. Including becoming a resident of the Weir and transforming yourself. But very few are of that caliber of character, I'm afraid. The rest are collected in the piss.
Who's in charge
Does that answer
here?
your question?
Are you in charge? Are you the lead goat.
There's no one in charge of this place. Our power is secured by the souls we collect. And it just so happens that I am the soul broker, and I'm the best at collecting souls. I have many in my employ.
Could I call you the Piss Master?
No, that's a different person.
When
I'm
people
not the
fall
Piss
in,
Master.
when people fall in or are condemned to this place, are they pissed?
Nash,
What?
now is not the time.
These are simple questions. He said ask them. I'm just curious.
Your mortal jests are lost on me. I'd save them for someone else.
You can
They're-
ask the piss master if you meet him, Nash. How about that?
All right. I can do that.
Now, as you guys walk and you have this awkward, strange conversation, you approach the gate. And then you see a couple, as you approach the gate, the large gated area, you see a couple of skeletons. They're just standing there. They have spears and like armor. It's all green. Well, it's not green, but there's like shades of green where it glows. And then it looks like it would be rusty, but it's black. And then you hear a dunk, 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 dunk. Open the gates! Open the gates! Ketobel Praise has returned! Open the gates! And you hear like shouting going off as the gates open. Ketobel Praise, without missing a beat, walks through as if he owns the place. And you follow behind. Just inside the... Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yes. Who trapped you?
There'll be time for that later. He says, right now I bid you enter. And he sort of walks around a corner and he extends his arm out. And you see this carriage with these two horses, this black as night horses in this carriage for you to get it, like for you to ride in. And then from the top, it's this skeleton in like these robes sort of disembarks and he pulls back his head a little bit. He's just got like this skull, these glowing green little eyes. And he says, "G'day there. Name's Toby. Ketobel Praith, you called for, made arrangements for some passengers to the guest house. I've got the carriage ready." He says, "Thank you, Toby. That will do. Mortals, I bid you head straight to the guest housing. There you will be fed, provided with courtesans for your mortal needs, and then for rest. After your human or your mortal desires are sated, I will send for you, and we will speak at length." Very
So-
well.
I'll nod and start walking into the carriage.
The same.
Yeah. One more question.
Yes, Nash.
Do our mortal desires include our mating rituals?
They do.
I turn to Stanley. I've got good news for you, buddy. That's all I follow. I get on.
All right, and then so Ketobel Praith then he opens up a portal. He steps through it quickly and leaves. And Toby says, come on now, get in the carriage. I've got to get you to the guest house right away. We don't want any demons eating you now. Before I get there, I will be in trouble." He ushers you in, and he folds up the stairs that you guys are stepping in on, and then you just hear "yeah!" and you hear the sounds of horseshoes hitting cobblestone, and you're alone in the carriage right now.
Are the windows open? Can you look through?
You can look through.
Oh, I'm gonna just stare out. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you look out, and the first thing you see is a house, and inside the house there's like a green lantern, and you see there's this little girl with a little demon girl with wings and like horns, and she's got a little dolly, and she's like, and she's the most adorable demon girl you've seen, but she's like shredding apart this dolly, just pulling all the stuffing out.
Is there anyone else vibrant out the windows, or is everybody black and skeletal or green?
Everything in this realm is black, and if it has a source of energy or glows, it's green. Maybe like a white green, a really light green. And somehow there's no sources like of light. Like the green doesn't make things green like you'd expect green light to do. Just it's you can see things outlined in black. You see depth, but everything is a shade of black or gray.
Toby also?
Yeah, Toby the skeleton.
Oh, he's a skeleton. I missed that part.
Yeah, he's a skeleton in a black hood with green glowy eyes.
So this place certainly has its own unique levels of charm.
I am understandable of your excitement, Hope, but perhaps as we are food here, you may want to close the curtain.
Toby, should I close the curtain?
It's probably a good idea. We don't want to arouse any of the lower demons here. They may not quite understand that you're not food to be eaten. We don't
Alright.
often get mortal visitors here.
Close the curtain very sadly.
And as you close the curtain, they seem to go by this merchant stall in this square. You catch it in your eye, and you see like these little this guy he's selling. Get yourselves right here. Get yourselves, and he's got these little like glass tincture jars, and they have these little green swirly things in them, and there's like a few like skeletons that are like they're shopping for whatever the green souls I suppose are in there. It just looks like madness to you as you close it, and now you're in darkness. There's no light in the carriage. You can't see inside. The four of you are sitting in silence.
Morel, how are you feeling?
I am overwhelmed at the moment. I am saddened by my betrayal of our tribe, and I express my deepest apologies to all of you. Nash, I apologize for the monstrous uppercut, as I remember it. And Stanley and Hope, I apologize for jumping upon your weakened states. The mighty beast did reach inside my head. I've never experienced such a desire. A worm in my ear reminded me of Stump as he twists words.
Well, that's all right, Varel. I nearly experienced it myself. It's a dangerous form of magic.
As someone
Not something you can prepare for.
As someone who suffers from doing things he can't control, I completely understand.
Well, you can control them. You often opt not to, which is why I'm forgiving Varel and glaring at you.
I'm
Not that
talking
you
about
can
my
see it at the
explosive
moment.
fire deal. Damn it. When I explode and you guys are all ticked, I can't control it. Not my dumb jokes.
I wasn't talking about either of those things, as a matter of fact. I was talking about putting people to sleep or hitting people with waves of thunder.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes next time. I need to save your ass with Thunderwave.
Perhaps we have all felt the taint of the place. I myself faced a great amount of fear, which I am not accustomed to. But this place reminds me of my dreams, of my time in the desert, the sights of greater beings. And much can be learned through observation in such moments. Deities, beings of the desert, do not enjoy questions, I find. And more can be learned through observation.
Did you see this exact place in those dreams?
I have seen a swirling sky of fire. I have watched the night sky and known that each star is a portal to another world, looking down at us, that we are watched constantly. And this place comes as no great surprise, though I sense its danger everywhere. It is hungry for us. We glow luminous to them. And it would be best if we were to keep quiet.
We are definitely low on the food chain here. Not to mention that any interest they have in us is going to be purely for their gain. We might get something out of it, but you don't win in these situations.
My flames that I so proudly subjected you all to were learned by observation of one of these great beings, not of dealings. We can walk out of here safe and more powerful than before. But they will try to corrupt us here. Much as those words of the Beholder did to me.
Once again, I do agree, but I think we all need to keep our situation in mind. We have no guarantee where they're going to drop us back off at. If the portal leads right back where we were, we have no way back to the surface. In addition, even if we get there, we don't have the deed we came for. Tylander's entire body has been disintegrated. We have no way to prove we killed him. Catherine Speckles, we could get her body, but that's not what we came here for. And it's quite likely that the entire town of Slavetown knows that old Nash here is responsible for burning it down. We're not exactly going to be very popular when we get back to town. We are not in a good situation. So we need to weigh any offerings carefully.
It seems possible that we could portal anywhere from here. Why go back to that town if we can go anywhere?
Can you open a portal, Nash?
No, but we can find one of these goats to do it for us. Maybe not now. We have much to learn. I'm not saying we can do it now. But we shouldn't limit ourselves to, oh yeah, back to Dust Hill or back to wherever. We don't have to go back. We could go anywhere. Maybe there's a place with water. Maybe there's a place with life. Maybe there's a place that could cure my wounds. That could make you less short. Maybe there's a way to...
Taller than you, Nash.
I mean, compared to Varel, we're all pretty short. But I personally
That
wouldn't
somehow
want to be 7
felt
feet.
personal as I'm a taller person than you.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, we're all stressed. None of us have rested. We're still licking our wounds from that last fight.
Look, my point is we went to Slavetown for a reason. Now, if we all collectively decide that that's not worth our time or effort, then so be it. That's the decision. But if we simply say, hey, take us somewhere else, let's start a new life, we are abandoning the purpose we went to that town to begin with.
Does this not mirror our own situation, though? A collection of souls being kept against their will that we wish to free?
I suppose it does.
Hope.
I don't know.
Varel?
I forgive my assumptions. It is said that your people are corrupted by places like this. What do you know of this city?
I just know it's the place of my ancestors. I've never been here before.
Have you heard of the Weir?
Yes. Oh, of course.
Yes.
Every tiefling in my village did.
And what tales did they tell of it?
What we've heard so far. They like souls. They make deals for souls. You gain power through them.
Something I fear bears saying, and I apologize if you possess the strength to resist. It may not be only souls thereafter. The living have ways of procreating, and I would suggest not mating with anyone here, Stanley.
Now, why does everybody assume that that's going to happen? I happen to be very content with my current relationship status, which is complicated.
Well, I'm sure as hell not doing it.
We know. Not a problem.
I'm just.
You hear Toby yell, "Whoa, whoa!" Wee! You hear the horses go, "Wee!" and the carriage comes to a stop, and you hear the wood as Toby descends off the side. And he opens up the curtain and he says, "All right, now you can come on out. Step on out here. The up the walkway is the house." And you, as you sort of look out, you see that you're on the edge, the periphery of the city. So you have this nice view of the piss and of the space, and see the bridges. And you can hear souls, "Help me," like very faintly in the background, and the swish of water. You ever been in Niagara Falls?
Mm-hmm.
Or any place like that? Just like you hear whoosh, there's a sound of current, faint but there and present. And as you step out, you realize you're sort of on this beautiful vista on the edge of the Weir city. And there's this giant, like, cottage, a very large cottage-looking house, like a lodging house. And Toby motions you, says, "Please make your way in there, make yourselves at home. And Baba will be with you shortly."
I'll start walking in.
All
The
right.
same.
So you walk up to the door, and the door just opens. And it opens up into a candlelit room. And quite to your shock and surprise, this room is in full color.
Whoa.
So there's candle lights, everything, and it looks like a large shack. Has benches. You see comfortable chairs around a hearth. You see that there's a passage to the right, and to the left, what looks to be like maybe this kitchen area you can see in the background. And you see, you hear the faint voices from the kitchen area talking, like, put the vegetables on now, and stuff like that. And you can hear these little instructions that someone's giving out. And as you open up the door and push it all the way, a little bell goes ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. And then not seconds later, this imp dressed with a bow tie and a suit comes down and says, excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm here. Please sit down. Please sit down.
I'll sit down.
Sit down. Yes. You sit down.
Also,
You with the hair. Sit down.
I'm sitting.
Okay.
you with the hair.
Thank you. I'm Baba, and I will be your butler. I am the imp who runs Chateau Weir.
Well, hello, Baba. It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Stanley Billings.
Ah, yes, Stanley Billings. Yes, I see your name here. And is there a Vorel
Here.
Okay. I got these names from Quizquaz, and he's not always very accurate. Okay. I have a Nash Maggard.
That's me.
Okay, you're Nash, and that must make you Hope. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Oh, you look lovely, Hope, by the way.
Oh, well, very nice to meet you.
Okay. So listen, a few house rules, okay? If someone knocks at the door or at any of the windows, don't let them in. Very important. Our kind can't help but look upon your delicious forms and want to have a taste. And the people here, we work for Katobel Praith, and we are trusted with the greatest of treasures, and you're our greatest treasure right now. So don't worry about us, but don't let anyone in. Understood?
Don't think that'll be a problem. Thank you, Baba.
And you say that, but trust me, we are very good at tempting mortals. So just picture me, okay? Just picture me saying this. Okay. The other house rule is, you may be aware that everything here might not be what it appears to be. We change shape at will. Yes, so you might feel like making fun of it or being kind of mean to some of the appearances of the people here. Don't do that. It causes a lot of problems for me, and it might make someone angry, and then it's not going to be a good time. So don't make fun of anybody, okay?
That is a rule for you, Nash.
I don't trust this guy.
Nash Magard of the Solar Mines.
At the bottom of his baseball card.
It's like, okay, so now that we have the house rules out of the way, I need to know a few things for your stay. We're going to be making you a fiesta, a giant. Do you know what a fiesta is, Stanley? Your eyebrows furled.
I do. It was a surprising phrase for you to use, Baba. You're just a fascinating fellow.
Surprising, okay, but it's a giant banquet, basically, of food that we have for you. So, but I'd like to know: does anyone have any allergies to anything?
We don't have a wide variety of food where we're from, Baba. I wouldn't even begin to know.
Do you speak for everyone?
I'll eat what you have.
I'll try anything once.
Okay, okay. So here are the consent forms. Then and he takes out some forms, and there's not a lot of language on there, but there's a bit of language, and he sort of passed them out, and he passed out these pens, and he's like, I just need you to write that down just to make sure we've had this conversation, that I've asked you if you've had any allergies, and you said you haven't, in case of any legal troubles. You understand, right?
I'll read the paper.
Yeah,
before
can I
sign
read
it.
through it for any
Yeah.
Sure.
Soul
Any
contract.
colorful stipulations?
investigation checks, please.
Let's all do it.
Is it investigation for reading? I don't. Wait a second. I might need to pick a better one. 1 second. Sorry. You're not really investigating. You're studying a document. So this might. It's also written in Infernal, so only people who can read Infernal can read this.
Oh, well.
It says ancient scrolls, and investigating them would be investigation.
It is? Okay. So that's magical scrolls, though, isn't it? I think so, yeah.
Hidden fragments of knowledge and ancient scrolls is their example.
Yeah, it doesn't really affect religion or history so much. So yeah, let's do lawyer stuff. Let's say it's investigation. It's your brain smarts.
I'll just be
Baba.
leaning over Hope like I'm cheating off her.
Yeah.
I'll read it out loud as I roll my investigation.
Okay.
Which is a
You
10.
read it out loud, and it's a lot of boilerplate stuff, just identifying who the parties are. You know, you are the guests with a capital G, and they are the deliverers of entertainments with capital D and E. And it goes through much of that, and it says it's also this services here are not eligible for residents of Quebec and Maine on there, and also
Even in the weird.
also towards the end it says that you agree, you acknowledge that you've been asked if you have any allergies, and that this form states that you have responded that you don't have any. If you do have some, you have to immediately inform the butler or an authorized representative of the Chateau Weir for appropriate action, and they acknowledge that it's them. And then finally, you're waiving your right to any damages or any legal recourse in the event of any allergies taking place, having informed the staff here that you do not have any.
Has she read this to us too? Have we heard this yet?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
then I have something to say. Hold on, I'm not signing shit. Here's why. How do we know they're not feeding us, reticulated elf balls or something weird? Like, what? How do we know? So they say, make sure you tell us you're not allergic. But how do I know if I'm not allergic to
The
whatever?
Baba says, well, listen, if you have any problems, you can take a tour of the kitchen. It's right over there. You can inspect and watch them to your heart's content. I want you to feel comfortable and at home and know you're not eating reticulated elf balls.
Baba, if I were to give you a bit of our food that we eat, could you just assure that no material beyond what's in it is being used in our own food?
We use real ingredients that are taken from the realms, so it's okay. Trust me, everything is delicious and above board. Mhm. Whatever we don't have here is magically produced with magical arcane arts from our chief wizard chef.
I raise my hand, so I'll be touring the kitchen.
Very well, very well. You may tour the kitchen. No problem. No door here is locked to you.
Can I go do that now?
You can, but we're still having orientation.
Okay, that's fine.
So you can do it now, but yeah.
No, it's fine.
Well, he says, "Excuse me, let's have our orientation. So you don't want to sign it just yet? Can you just sign it? I mean, it's just releasing us from having to pay out any damages if you're allergic to something, and we fed it to you.
But how do we know if we're allergic to it? Again, my point stands. If it's, octopus vagina, you probably should tell me now.
But we're not going to serve you octopus vagina unless you want it.
What's our first meal?
I'm gonna try a persuasion on Baba, and I'm going to say, well, we are guests here, and I would assume that you are going to do your best to make sure that your guests are well tended to and taken care of. I would assume that you would accept any damages for harming a guest of the great Kotobel Praith, and I think we shouldn't have to sign anything for that. You obviously want us well taken care of. I don't think we need this legal business amongst friends.
Roll.
That's going to be a 24.
Looks and he says, "All right, fine. I can see it's much trouble, and I don't want to anger Kotobel Praith, but it would be really good if you could sign it because it would help protect me and the kitchen staff. It's for us. It's to help protect us. But very well."
I'm sure you've got this, Baba. You seem like a well put together little imp.
He collects back up the papers and rolls them up, and he says, "If you change your mind, please let me know. I really would prefer they were signed, but I understand that perhaps maybe I'm making too much trouble for distinguished guests such as yourself." Okay. Now, where was I? Okay, so I need to know what you'd like to eat. What can our chefs prepare for you?
Well, there's two things I don't want. And you already know what those are.
Yes, you don't want reticulated elf balls, and you don't want octopus vagina.
Correct.
I understand. But, what kind of food would you like? We can make everything. I can make everything for you.
Do you have non-radiated beef?
Non-radiated beef. So, beef. Okay.
But non-radiated.
And how would you like the beef cooked? Would you like beef Wellington? Would you like just a rare T-bone steak? Would you like beef stew? We have it all. What would you like?
Do I have any idea what any of that meant?
I don't know. You'd have to tell me. Have you ever had beef in your life? There are cows in the world, but they're exceedingly rare.
Yeah.
We had brisket at the Hilgar meeting.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some cows. Yeah, actually, there were some cows in the Dark Farms.
Mm-hmm. There were
Yeah,
definitely cows.
I think I'd probably remember that as one of the best meals I've ever had. So I would probably request. Baba, I had a brisket, I believe it was, back in Dust Hill. I think if you can manage that, that would be good to experience again.
Okay, so Stanley would like beef brisket. And please don't be shy. You don't have to just order one thing. You can order 10 things and just eat one. I mean, just what do you want to eat?
I want the same thing, but I need something green. Do you have, I don't know, vegetables? Again, non-radiated.
Nothing here is irradiated unless you want it to be. We can do that for you, but assume it's not irradiated to begin with.
Then I'll have a nice green salad with
How about a Cobb salad, or would you like a Caesar salad?
Cobb, and I want blue cheese dressing.
Blue cheese dressing. Okay.
Yeah, these are all these.
He whips out a little pad and he starts. Blue cheese dressing.
Nash Maggot of the Solar Mine sure lived a bougie kind of life.
This is where Stanley's wrong. I've only read of these things in books. I'm testing these bastards. I don't think they can do it. They're going to bring us a lumpy, slithering intestine or something and say, "There's your brisket."
If you've only read about it, how do you know they brought you the right thing?
Well, pictures, books. Did you don't get pictures where you're I mean, we had books in the solar mines. That's how we stopped. It's how we kept from going crazy. It was our
My
one.
book doesn't have very many pictures in it, Nash. It's mostly words.
That's why it's so boring.
I think that's a veiled attempt to tell me I don't know how to read, but that's okay. Bring us your brisket, Varel. What do you want? You always want something weird.
I do.
Yeah, Varel, what would you like to eat, please?
And I'll lean down to Baba. My friends may not respect the power of this place, but I know an ancient place like this has entertained many guests. My people have been lost for a long time. Do you know what ancestor lizard folk ate?
The ancestor folk, the old lizard folk. They ate one another. They beat one another in battle and ate their hearts. And tried to consume their power. We understand that very much and respect it. But lacking that, they would eat their kills. They would eat sandworms. There was even a legend of the greatest of the lizard folk. Shortly after the scorching of your world, a lizard folk by the name of Grosjean, who could defeat anything in combat. And he defeated Tarask and fed his village for a century.
And you can produce magically a copy of...
I can find some Tarask for you if you're so interested. It would come with great difficulty, but Kitobel Praith has said to feed you anything, so we won't have to trade for it, as demons normally do, right? but yes, you would like a little bit of Tarask?
If it's possible, yes.
We call your boss the Pissmaster, by the way. Pissmaster from now on. Can you
Pissmaster?
Try that next time you see him. See if he's cool with it.
No, Kitobel Praith is the soul broker, just as Quizgwaz is the dream drinker. Well, Tinkle is the Pissmaster. He's a different demon. It would be if I started calling you Stanley. You wouldn't like that very much, would you?
Oh, hell no.
I think I'd be more offended by it than he would.
He's not wrong. Hope, what are you eating?
So, do you want your Tarask prepared a certain way? Raw, cooked, smoked, sanded?
I'm unsure. I've never had it before.
I don't even know what it is.
Sanded. Ugh. Says
They had
Nash.
it all three ways.
Who had
I
it?
do not wish to be a glutton. I am already spoiling myself by requesting anything in particular. However the chef sees it fit for a lizard folk. I wish to dine like my people have, if they have
If you
ever
wish to
visited
dine
this
like your
place.
people, the best is always raw, as if torn fresh from the corpse itself. Yes?
Excellent.
And I know that you do not like vegetables, so none of that.
No.
Just Tarask. And how about steeped in blood? But what kind of blood? Griffin's blood might taste good and might match the flavor of the Tarask and offer a nice contrast. What do you think?
The most delicious blood I have tasted is that of the Kromunkishi warriors.
So orcs.
It's all I know. This is all
orcs
new
is
to me.
blood. Okay. We will have it steeped in orcs' blood with Tarask. As strips of Tarask. Yes. Okay. Oh, I'm excited too. I may try a little bit. I'm hoping. Have you given any thought to what you might eat?
Yes, actually. There was a stew my village used to make, and a bread we'd use to eat with it. That's what I'd like. And the ale.
Do you know what it's called?
It was just the weak stew, whatever we caught, and whatever vegetables would grow.
So a rustic desert stew. Do you know what meats were in it?
Well, sand squid was very popular, but sometimes there were rock lizards. Sorry, Varel. Let's do the rock lizards.
Okay, rock lizards. In the bread, was it like a rye?
It's like Subway in here.
Was it herb and cheese, or would you like 5 whole grains?
Do you want that toasted?
This is all gonna get very disappointing when we realize it's all make believe and we're not getting any food.
Right? It's gonna be Hook. We end up throwing stuff, Play-Doh at each other. The rye. Paleo.
Right. Very good. Right. Okay then. And do you stew rye? Do you want sauerkraut or pickle? Do you know what that is? Sauerkraut's delicious.
No, I don't, but I'll try it.
I'll put a little sauerkraut on there. Okay.
And the best ale you have for everyone.
The best
here.
ale. We have ale fermented from the piss itself.
Oh,
It's delicious.
That seems perhaps a little too strong.
I'll try it. I'll try. That'll just be for me. But anyone else?
Okay.
no.
Piss ale for hope.
No, thanks.
Prefer my ale not steeped in the souls of wailing individuals.
Do you have a kind you prefer? Do you know its name?
I have never agreed with Stanley Moore in my entire life.
Just water for me. I haven't experienced a wide variety of food.
Green water?
Green
What'd you say?
water?
I didn't hear what you said.
Regular water, please.
Okay. Stanley would like.
What is green water?
I just thought I don't know. I thought I heard you say green water, and I was like, okay.
Is
All
it
right,
just water with the color green in it? If so, I'd be willing to try.
I thought that's what you said. I thought you said green water. The only green water I know of is a special kind of mead made with seaweeds.
Sure, let's try that.
Cucumber.
I don't know what either of those things are, but
Okay.
you know,
Green water for you. Okay.
when in the weir, do what the weir do.
Nash, do you have a drink you prefer? I can get you the drink.
It's an ancient drink. And if you can
Yes.
get us anything, this will be a great test. I'm looking for what the ancients of our world would call a rum and coke.
Oh, rum. Rum and coke. I
Mind you,
know
I've
exactly what you're looking for. We'll find them for you.
never had one, but that'd be great.
And Varel, do you drink things? Do you imbibe alcohols?
I've
I
never
can get them for you.
normally the kill supplies all the liquids that are needed.
Yes, but do you drink alcohols, to get lightheaded and relaxed?
What would be the purpose?
To release you from your inhibitions, to make you more loose-tongued and more lucid in life, to make you feel pleasure.
Ah, Stump's suggestive drinks. I've never drunk so much as to feel its effects. My size perhaps keeps it off. But you did mention, and
I recommend the piss ale. It's quite strong, even for our kind.
I'm afraid in a place of suggestion such as this, that would be unwise, but you did mention a griffin's blood,
You'll
and I
sleep
am...
it off. You're gonna be sleeping before you meet with Gadobel Praith on the morrow. Certainly, it's fine. Might have a bit of a headache the next day, but it's okay.
I would very much like the griffin's blood you mentioned.
Very well, Griffin's blood. Okay then. Well, if you want anything else, just tell me and we'll have it for you, no matter the time of day. I'll make the chef make it. Let me tell you, we have this exquisite special this week. It's a fast food delight from the annals of time. It's called a poutine. It has fries and cheese curds and gravy and we can put whatever meat or delight you'd like onto it. Just ask. It's quite delicious. I myself have been eating it every day, and he pats his stomach. And I've put on more pounds than I care to admit. Very well. Now, for the other matter, what courtesans will you be requiring this evening?
An attractive one.
Okay. How many do you need, Hope?
One.
One. You sure? You no need to be modest. We can provide 5 or 10
No.
as you need.
No, one's fine.
A man, a woman, or other?
Men preferably.
And is there a species, a look that you prefer?
Tiefling.
I roll my eyes and go, here we go.
And do you prefer somebody muscular or somebody gentle and sensitive?
Muscular, brown hair.
Okay. I like a woman who knows what she wants. For you, Stanley, how many courtesans?
On the advice of my counsel, I'm going to go with none.
None. Now, look here, Stanley. No need to be modest. It's not every day a mortal comes to this realm and can partake in its delights without consequence.
Look around.
And this is your one
Somewhat
opportunity.
annoyed at my companions and their thoughts of me. Nope, I'm afraid I'm going to abstain today.
Now, I believe there's some morality we need to clear up. You don't have to plow them. You can have them wash your feet, play music for you. They're not just objects for sex. You can use them as you see fit. Perhaps you'd like someone to comb your hair, Stanley.
I'm good, thank you.
Very well then. You will regret this. Let me tell you. There'll be a night you'll be alone, and I wish I'd taken that time.
I have no doubts.
Very well. Very well. Okay. Varel, how many courtesans will you be requiring this evening?
I didn't. I thought.
Would you like someone to scratch your mane, your nose, your chin?
I didn't understand there was more. I thought they just serviced the genitals. There's more.
No. They do as you see fit. If you're looking for interesting conversation, you can have a debate with them. When you take your bath tonight, they'll help you wash the places you can't reach.
Bath.
You don't have to take a bath, but we have baths available. So if you wanted to wash, they can wash you. Why would you wash yourself in a place like this? In Chateauweir.
I thought they were hungry for seed. I didn't understand. Please, what more can they do? What are you ordering? Should I get something?
I recommend 5 courtesans. Varel?
Is that too much? Hope, please. That sounds music. I've heard of music. I would enjoy music. Perhaps. How many people does it take to play music?
You only need one, really.
I would like one musician.
Okay. And what male, female, or other?
Hope.
Both can play really well.
Okay. One of each.
Okay. 2 musicians and a male and a female. Okay. Very good. Any other courtesans you require this evening, Varel?
I've heard that there's a method to work the sand from the scales.
Mm-hmm. With toothbrush.
A toothbrush.
A little scrubbing brush.
A brush.
Yeah.
Yes. Stanley denied. Should I get a brushing, Stanley?
I don't know. Everybody's getting courtesans now after everybody gave me crap for saying I would get some.
Varel was the only one, I
thought-
think, Stanley.
I thought they only wanted to be impregnated. I did not wish to sire children in this realm.
You can impregnate one or all of them as you see fit,
I did
but
not
you
wish
can
to.
You can impregnate none of them. They will still
Done.
serve you. They will clean your toes and clean the sand from your armpits if you desire it.
Stanley, please order a brushing with me.
I don't know how that would work on someone who doesn't have scales.
Well, they can comb your armpit hair.
Oh,
And they
A
can comb the
massage?
beautiful hair. Do you need a haircut, Stanley? What about trimming
Actually-
that mustache of yours?
I could use a haircut, as a matter of fact.
Very well. So you would like one after all, Stanley?
Yeah.
Male or female or other?
Whoever your best barber would be.
Okay. And then one brushing for you, Varel.
Yes.
And Nash, do you require any courtesans this evening?
here's all I want. One deck of playing cards, and another eunuch that isn't some hornbag like the rest of you who will sit and play with me.
I'm just
We can
getting a
arrange for someone to
haircut.
play cards.
That's all I
so
want.
one other.
One
other
man or
for
woman doesn't
playing
matter.
cards.
It could be a demon, could be a freaking horse for all I care. If they can play cards, that's all I want.
Can I watch that?
Yes.
I would love to learn to play. Can we share my musicians and the brushings and the card playing in the same room?
You can watch. I don't know.
I don't know if we want to be in the same room as Hopes, but we could otherwise share some of our activities.
Yes, Hope is taking the fool package.
So does anyone wish to have any attendance in the bath? Will they be taking a bath tonight? Well, is this enough attendance for the bath?
I can handle a bath myself, but I appreciate it.
Stanley, do you need someone to wash your nethers?
I'm more than capable of washing my own nethers, thank you. very
Nash,
much.
do you need someone to wash your nethers?
No. All I need is a sponge. I'm good.
All right then. So no attendance for the bath.
Could I have my bath in sand instead of?
You can. We will make special arrangements for your bath so that the faucet pours sand. Do you require an attendant for your sand bath?
No. Thank you. No.
Can you can you make sure you're not preparing the food? Yeah, remember the food? Don't prepare the food around any of the sand is my only request.
Don't prepare any of the food around the sand. That's what you said.
Yeah. All Nash Magard cares about is not eating sandy food.
We have high standards. We are a 5-star rated restaurant here. We have the highest of standards observed with the handling of your food. There won't be any sand in your Cobb salad. Okay? Yes.
Yes.
I think we're doing swell.
All right. And with that, Baba poof out of existence.
Oh, he
Oh, but before he disappears, he says, "I'll be right back. Please wait for your food and your courtesans." And he goes poof out of existence. And with that, we'll take a break
break time, everybody.
as we wait for your goodies to arrive.
Yeah.
I'll be so hungry after this episode today.
Yeah. Gonna be hungry for sure. Go take
There will be fried onions.
go take your moments, do your bios, and we'll be back.